Hi there, and welcome to TechPower. iOS 11 Beta 1 has been released to developers. Let's take a look what new exciting features have been added. Let's start with the lock screen. It has been completely redesigned. It will show you recent notifications at a glance, but if you swipe up in the middle of the screen, you see the text "Earlier today" appearing. And if you continue swiping, you will see the notification center open. Nothing happens now when you swipe from the top on the lock screen. But swiping from the top in other places in the system will show you the notification center. But now the lock screen and the notification center look the same. Swiping to the right will still give you the widget screen, and swiping to the left will still open the camera app. But swiping from the bottom, we get the new and improved control center. As you can see, the control center has been totally redesigned. Now it shows tiles of different actions. From the top left, we have airplane mode, cellular data, Wi-Fi, and then Bluetooth. But that's not all, because if you 3D touch or long press on older iPhones, you get more options. You get AirDrop and personal hotspot. And then to go back to the notification center, you simply press somewhere outside the controls or press the home button. Then next to that we have the music controls. You can press play and skip forward and backward. And then we can also 3D touch here or long press to get more detail, such as album artwork, AirPlay options, playback progress bar, playback controls, and finally the volume controls. Next up we have the portrait rotation lock. Then we have the do not disturb. Below that we have a specific tile for screen mirroring. 3D touching it or long pressing will open up a list of devices available for screen mirroring. We can select a device, or we can select the stop mirroring option. To the right of the screen mirroring, we have the brightness controls. You can change the brightness here, or 3D touch or long press to get a bigger brightness bar. And in addition to changing the brightness, we also get the night shift mode here. Next to the brightness controls, we have the volume controls. Here we can also 3D touch or long press, but we simply get a bigger volume control. No additional features. The remaining tiles in the control center are customizable from the settings menu. But the tiles we have here are first up the flashlight, which you can turn on and off. But by 3D touching it or long pressing the flashlight, we can control the intensity of the light. Next to the flashlight we have the timer. Pressing the timer will simply open the normal timer function, but 3D touching or long pressing gives us a quick access to set a timer from 1 minute up to 2 hours. Next to the timer we have the calculator, which simply opens the calculator app. No 3D touch actions here. Then we have the camera, and strangely nothing happens when you simply press the camera icon. But 3D touching or long pressing will give us option to open the camera app at the previously selected camera mode, or click the take photo option to open it in the photo mode. The next one is screen recording. Yes, screen recording is now built into the system. We can simply press the recording button to start a recording, and we can now see that screen recording has started. Then we simply swipe up to get the control center again and stop the recording, and the recording is saved to your photo library. We can also 3D touch or long press to start the recording and then also stop it. And from here you can even mute the microphone. Next we have the low power mode, and no 3D touch action here. Then we have a new feature, do not disturb while driving, which will help us not get distracted from notifications while we're driving. Lastly, we have access to the wallet app, which we obviously need Touch ID or passcode to open. But to configure the control center, we go into the control center settings, and from there you can reorder the different actions as you like. Then there are more actions to add, such as accessibility shortcuts, alarm, Apple TV remote, guided access, magnifier, notes, stopwatch, text size, and voice memos. You simply press the green plus button to add each one of them, and they will then appear in the control center. Simple as that. And then to remove the actions again, you simply press the remove icon and then the remove button, and the control center will be updated accordingly. In the Messages app, we now have a large message title, and now when writing a message, we have an app drawer, which gives us quick access to all the Messages apps we have installed. We can swipe through them and click to select one. Then we can click the up arrow or swipe up to get a larger view of the selected app, and then simply swipe down to minimize it. And from the app drawer, you can also access the App Store for the Messages apps. Siri has also been updated, and now it has more natural sounding voice. How's the weather for tomorrow?
Here's the forecast for tomorrow.
Now, Siri can also do translations. So we can say, translate, how's the weather for today? It can translate from English to French, German, Italian, Mandarin, and Spanish. Then you simply select the language to translate to, and Siri will translate it and speak it.
Wie ist das Wetter heute?
You can then press the play button to repeat the
Wie
playback.
ist das Wetter heute?
The App Store has been totally redesigned. Even the app icon has been updated. We now have new tabs. We have the Today view that shows you what's new and noteworthy for today. We have the Games tab, where we can find all the games we want. And then the Apps tab, which of course includes all the apps. And then of course we have the Updates tab and the Search tab. Now in the app pages, we can now see if the app includes in-app purchases. The camera has got a small update, and you can see here how slowly it opens in this first beta version. We have a new view for the camera filters. We now get the filters at the bottom, where we can swipe between them instead of an overlay in previous iOS versions. And now we also have a built-in QR code reader in the camera app, and it is very quick, as you can see here, when we open the Apple website with a QR code. When we take a screenshot in iOS 11, we get a thumbnail of the screenshot that you can click to enter the markup mode. We can then add some markup and save the changes to the photo library or delete the screenshot. If we look closer at the top left corner, we can see that the cellular signal is again indicated with bars instead of dots, which I think, if I remember correctly, were changed in iOS 7. Now let's turn our attention to the settings. First of all, now we have a large title for the settings. We have a new icon for Siri, and it's now called Siri and Search. Now we have a new option for Emergency SOS, where we have our emergency contacts and settings. And we also have accounts and passwords. That includes our email accounts and app and website passwords. The video settings has been removed, and now photos and camera has been split up into separate items. And all the social account settings have been removed. Now you don't have Facebook, Twitter, Flickr or Vimeo logins built into the system, which could get problematic for apps that use these social logins for their functionality. In the notifications, we now have a new option, Show Previews, and we have the options Always, When Unlocked or Never. The Spotlight search has been removed from General, but it was simply moved to the Siri and Search menu instead. And now instead of storage and iCloud usage, we have iPhone storage, which now only includes the local storage, not the iCloud part. And now we have a nice graphical data overview of how much space is taken by apps, photos, messages, media, and other. Here we now also get recommendations on how to optimize the storage. We get suggestions on auto-delete old conversations, offload unused apps, but keep the app data, keep messages in the cloud, and at some point I got a recommendation to enable iCloud library, but it's gone now. Then of course we have the list that shows the storage of each app, as in previous versions. At the bottom of the general settings, we have a new button called Shut Down, and by clicking it we will open the shutdown screen. And under accessibility we have a new Siri option, where we can enable Type to Siri. So instead of speaking to Siri, we can type in our questions. We also have options for voice feedback, to have it always on, to control it with ring switch, or have it hands-free only. In the background app refresh, we have a new option where we can select to have the background app refresh on Wi-Fi and cellular, on Wi-Fi only, or simply have it off. Under keyboards, we have a new option for smart punctuations. I'm not entirely sure what it does, but of course it has something to do with punctuation. We now also have selection for dictation languages. And of course, with all new versions of iOS, we get new wallpapers. We only see one new wallpaper here, which I've been using now, but we also have 3 gradient ones removed. Under the Siri and Search settings, we now have a new option, Press for Siri. This option was previously only available under the accessibility options. In the context menu, we have new Siri and Search options, where you can set the Search and Siri suggestions to on or off, and find contacts in other apps to on or off. The same applies for the calendar menu. We have this new Siri and search options. The settings for messages now have a new option for messages on iCloud and a Sync Now button for that feature. And in the map settings, we now have access options. And finally, in Safari, we have new privacy and security features. We have try to prevent cross-site tracking, block new cookies and data, ask websites not to track me, and camera and microphone access. So this was an overview of some of the new features in iOS 11. It's not a complete coverage, but you get the idea. But I really hope you liked this video, and it might get you excited to download iOS 11 when it is released. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and share. See you in my next video.